My heart was racing when I saw Margaret Ellison, the vice president of the HOA from the subdivision over the fence, standing in the middle of my ranch yelling at my dogs like a crazed dictator. She'd burst through my locked gate, charged across my pasture in her starched navy slacks and crisp white blouse, and now waved a branch of my Labradors, Bella and Duke, who growled guardedly, but stood their ground. "Control your feral beasts, or I'll have them raised," she screamed, jerking the branch like a club. Rage tore through me, dropping feed. I rushed at her, telling her to get away. Bella and Duke yelped with barked sharper, but neither moved, tired to defend, not to kill. I'd trained them myself kind with people, relentless only against strangers. Margaret Universe as I came, unremorseful, jaw set like a general. "You're keeping harmful animals and disregarding codes of safety," she snapped. "I have every right to be here. You're trespassing on private property," I roared, fighting to hold in my rage. "You broke in and you're threatening my dogs. Lucky they're nicer than you deserve." She scoffed, poking the branch at me. "As HOA vice president, I can check out any threat to the community." That's when my neighbor Tom roared up in his beat-up pickup, leaping out with words that changed the air. "She just committed felony trespassing, sheriff's on her way." Margaret's sneer faltered, but she doubled up. Flipping the branch, she strode toward my barn phone, held out as if calling in an army. Tom and I pursued, yelling for her to take off. Bella and Duke trailed, barking in dismay. Then gravel crunched 3 sheriff's cruisers, blinking lights screeched to a stop at my gate. Margaret stood stock still. A deputy stepped out, hand resting on his holster. "Ma'am, stay where you are." She pointed at me. "His dogs are a terror. They need to be confiscated." The face of the deputy was stone. "You're under arrest for trespassing and harassing animals. Hands up." Her jaw was agape, pearl necklace glinting as she was cuffed and had her rights read. The woman who'd bragged at a town meeting that she was untouchable now was a felon on my land. But as deputies took her away to the cruiser, she struggled free for a split second, yelling, "I want a community hearing, I am safety." A deputy quickly reapprehended her, locking the cuffs tight. Another glanced at me. "Got security cameras?" I nodded, indicating the oak tree where I'd put one up after a theft attempt. "Gate barn pasture reverie, everything captured." He gave a sharp nod. "That'll lock in the charges." While Margaret raged about HOA codes from the cruiser, I soothed Bella and Duke, their tails wagging in spite of the commotion. Kindness, I realized, isn't just for peep lights owed to animals' land. Even rules you dispute lose respect, and you lose everything. Tom chuckled, clapping my shoulder. "Quite a show for a Saturday?" I laughed, tension easing. Thought it'd be a quiet one. Deputies took my statement I was feeding livestock. Saw Margaret inside my gate, threatening my dogs. Deputy Harris, mid-30s, with a no-nonsense air, noted everything HOA crazies are common, he said. "But threatening dogs with a stick, that's new," Tom added, "and playing like she's the law." Harris smirked, "Trespassing, harassment, resisting arrest in deep." After they left, I fixed Gates' latch, intending a stricter lock. Bella and Duke lounged in shade, oblivious. Tom assisted stacking hay and discussed the county fair, normally grounding us. Ranch life requires moving on. Nature doesn't wait for drama that evening on my porch, sipping iced tea. Bella at my feet, dup beside me, a text from a number I don't know, lit up my phone. "You'll be sorry. Watch your back." My gut turned. Margaret and HOA friend. Then headlights crept up my drive, slow, deliberate, not a neighbor's pickup. Clutching my granddad's unloaded shotgun, I stepped outside, Bella and Duke on high alert. The pickup stopped 50 feet away. Cab light showing a stranger in a hoodie, hands tied on the wheel. His window cracked open. "You messed with the wrong people." "Rancher," he spat. I stood up with the shotgun firm, but not menacing. "You're trespassing, depart." He gunned the engine, grinning, then spat, and backed up gravel, spewing. I held my ground until his taillights faded, then hugged my dogs. "Good job," I whispered. I called the sheriff, who vowed patrols. Sleep eluded me. I sat with the shotgun guarding the fields. By dawn, Bella and Duke played in the mist, reminding me to keep moving. Over coffee, Tom arrived with breakfast from town. "After yesterday, you need it," he said. I told him about the truck and text. His face turned dark. Margaret's rallying her goons. He was correct. Crave power over decency. A Facebook status on Margaret's HOA group leaked my address, calling me a dangerous animal owner and calling for action. They were not just mad, they were organizing. Tom urged, "Get ahead of this." I pulled camera footage. Margaret climbing the gate, wielding the stick, resisting arrest, crystal clear. We took it to Deputy Harris, who said the DA wanted to make an example of her. Back home, we planned stronger gates and lights. That evening, a black SUV delivered a cease and desist from the HOA, demanding I surrender Bella and Duke for a safety review. Private security, not cops, served it, shoving the paper in my mailbox. 72 hours, one barked. I gripped the door. Dogs tense. "You've got no authority," I said. They drove off, but the threat lingered. Tom arrived, livid at the document. "They're bluffing your lands, not theirs." I called Deputy Harris, who verified the HOA had no jurisdiction, and my friend Lisa, a lawyer. She was fierce. "This is harassment. We'll hit them with a restraining order and lawsuits." The next day, Lisa came over, armed with legal binders. Over coffee, we crafted a restraining order against Margaret, a cease and desist to HOA, and prepared a civil action. "Go public," she implored. "Expose their harassment." I procrastinated. I did not like publicity, but Tom agreed. "They'll lie if you stay silent." He was correct. We put in floodlights and trail cameras. That evening, banging aroused me at 2 a.m. Not a knock, but wood on metal. Shotgun in hand, I observed 3 hooded figures, one destroying my barn door with a crowbar, another spray painting dog killers on my shed. Bella and Duke barked furiously. I called 911, vandals armed at my ranch. Dispatch urged me to stay inside, but when one pulled a lighter and gasoline aiming to burn my granddad's barn, I slipped out with the dogs circling silently. I stepped into the light, racking the shotgun. "Drop it, 5 seconds," Bella and Duke growled. The men froze as sirens wailed. Deputies swarmed, tackling them. Harris discovered an HOA keychain on one. "This is in order," he said. "Conspiracy, arson, vandalism." Lisa and Tom ran over. We cleaned the graffiti, but the barn's scars were still there. At dawn, Lisa plotted lawsuits while I labored, grounding myself. At the sheriff's office, Harris uncovered warrants for Margaret and HOA President Richard Hole, connected to extortion and phony inspections. Emails indicated they targeted landowners for bargain sales. Looking at my ranch for a subdivision, Greed Not Dogs sent them. Lisa promised. They'll pay expensively. That day, I saw Margaret in town staring at me from a sedan. Her cold smile sent a chill. Mesh wasn't finished. Back home, everything was quiet. Then late at night, 4 SUVs rammed my gate. Armed private security pouring out with zip ties asserting HOA authority to take my dogs into custody. Tom came out with his rifle. I brandished my shotgun. "You're trespassing!" I yelled. Sirens pierced Harris's voice. "BM Ed. Drop your guns." Deputies took them away for home, invasion and impersonation. Harris smiled. "Warrants are out for Margaret and Richard. Charges stacked up. Conspiracy, assault, arson." The HOA dissolved, its leaders ruined by lawsuits. Neighbors brought food. Apologizing, I bought adjacent lots at auction, expanding my ranch. Bella and Duke ran free. One sunset, Tom said, "You held strong." I petted my dogs, we all did. Ranch life taught me storms pass if you protect what matters. My land, my dogs, my peace, and no bully would take.